In this video, I'm going to go through my slideshow called Angles Vocabulary Part 1. Now you should have a copy of this slideshow, only yours is missing some of the information I have. So what I want you to do is take the information that I have here that's missing from yours and put it into yours. You can use a text box to do that, and I'll make sure I go slow so that you can keep up. If you do start to get behind, just pause the video. There's not that much information you have to copy over. So the first slide says complementary angles. This is the first vocab word for angles that we need to know this year. Complementary angles are angles that combine to be 90 degrees. So in this picture, you can see I have two angles, a green one and a pink one, and those two angles are complementary. That means they add up to 90 degrees. The next vocab term is supplementary angles. And supplementary angles combine to make 180 degrees. So in this picture here, you see the blue angle plus the yellow angle, and they combine to make a line. They combine to make 180 degrees. Another name for a 180 degree angle is a straight angle. The next word here is perpendicular. Perpendicular means that two lines have met to form a right angle. The symbol for perpendicular is in the bottom right there. It just looks like a picture of two lines forming a perpendicular angle, or an upside down T. But perpendicular means that two lines have formed a right angle when they met. The next vocab term is congruent. The word congruent means that two objects in math are the same, whether it's angles, lines, or shapes. Congruent means that those two things are the exact same. They are identical. So these two angles here, even though the one on the right has longer sides, they are congruent. These two angles are congruent. They have congruent angle measures, and that means they have the same angle measure. The symbol for congruent is shown here in the bottom left. It's just an equal sign with a wave over the top, and that means that the two items are congruent. The last definition here is called vertical angles. So when you have two lines intersect in math, four angles are formed. As you can see in this picture here, I have two red angles and two yellow angles. And if you look closely, those two red angles are the exact same angle, just one of them's upside down and backwards from the other. And the same goes for the two yellow angles. These two red angles are called vertical angles, and the two yellow angles are also called vertical angles. So this picture has two sets of vertical angles. Well, what are vertical angles? They're angles that are across from one another. The only thing they share is a vertex. And vertical angles are always congruent. So the two red angles in this picture have the same angle measure, and the two yellow angles in this picture have the same angle measure. So let's look at a couple examples here. You don't have this on your slideshow, so all you have to do is watch these examples here. So I have a picture here with two angles that combine to make 90 degrees. And I know that because of that little square mark there in the corner. And one of the angles is 32 degrees. The other angle is just labeled A. So the directions, which I cut off here by mistake, the directions would be, what is the measure of angle A? And to find the measure of this angle, all you have to do is do 90 degrees, which is the whole picture, minus the 32 degrees that we do know. So the answer to 90 minus 32 here is 58 degrees. The measure of angle A is 58 degrees. In this picture, we have two angles that combine to make a line. We have two angles that combine to make a straight angle. These two angles are supplementary. Supplementary, remember, means that the two angles pictured add up to 180 degrees. So to find the measure of angle A, all we have to do is subtract 180 minus 158. And the answer to that is 22 degrees. Measure of angle A is 22 degrees. And the last example for today, I have a picture with two lines intersecting. There's 4 angles in this picture. One of them is completely unlabeled. 2 of them are labeled with letters B and C, and the last one is labeled 55 degrees. So remember, we said vertical angles are always congruent. So if we know that that top left one is 55 degrees, the bottom right one is also 55 degrees because they are diagonal from one another. They are vertical angles, so both of these angles are 55 degrees. So the measure of angle B is 55 degrees. Now to get the measure of angle C, we just need to look at the fact that C combines with the 55, either the one next to it or the one above it, but in either way, C combines with the angle next to it to make 180 degrees. Those two angles are supplementary. So to find the measure of angle C, we just need to do 180 minus 55, and the answer to that is 125 degrees.